Hey Latchkey kids and driving mutants, I'm Lady Shasha, Mistress of the Snark, and I just watched Demonic. This is a sci-fi horror movie directed by Neil Blomkamp, who is most known for District 9. It's about a woman who is contacted by an agency to participate in an experimental treatment for her mother who is in a coma. They have a device that allows her to communicate with her mother's consciousness. The whole setup reminds me so much of The Cell. This could have been super creative, especially when you think of all the things that could be present within the subconscious mind. Unfortunately, this is not creative at all. I don't even know why they introduced that aspect of the story, because they did nothing interesting with it. This movie is slow and boring and only has one good scene. And that scene is when her friend came over at 3 a.m. If you saw this, you knew what I'm talking about. If you didn't see this, then you didn't miss much. The story is basic, the effects are basic, there are TV shows with higher production value. This movie just looked like an episode of Supernatural. And it was such a missed opportunity. I was so disappointed. I cannot recommend anyone pay to see this. Just wait until it hits Tubi or something. All it really did was make me want to watch The Cell again after 20 years to see if it still holds up. So I'll be back in a moment to tell you all about it. Welcome back, let's get into The Cell. This was produced by New Line Cinema. It features an all-star cast including Jennifer Lopez, Vince Vaughn, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Marianne Jean-Baptiste. Anyone else think of her as like a younger British CCH Pounder? I saw this when it first came out in theaters in 2000. I remember the visuals being so beautiful and sometimes haunting, or even slightly disturbing. This has two storylines that eventually connect. One storyline is about J-Lo working as a psychiatrist that uses a new technology to interact with patients' subconsciousness. The little boy she's working with, mother, still has hope that this method will work, but his father feels defeated and has lost hope in this procedure. The other story is about a serial killer who's being hunted down by law enforcement. We see him stalking his victims, we see how he captures them, and what he does with them as well. When they finally catch him, they realize that he has one more victim hidden, but he can't tell them where she is because he has fallen into a coma. It is at this point that they decide to use the same technology used to help patients to go inside his subconscious to get clues as to where his last victim might be. Being that he is a mentally ill psychopath, his subconscious is something to behold. This movie has some strange scenes, like when the serial killer suspends himself on hooks over a corpse to gratify himself, but that is nothing compared to what's going on in his mind. I really like how the color grading changes. It is a normal full range of color in the real world in which J-Lo and the FBI live, but the colors are muted in the real world that the serial killer lives in. And in his subconscious, everything is vividly colorful. The people who worked on the Museum of Macabre Dolls within the subconscious of the serial killer, good job. J-Lo playing a psychiatrist is about as convincing as Mark Wahlberg playing a science teacher. I do think that she was chosen for this role for her ability to serve looks. Look at this imagery. It is 20 years later and it still looks as breathtakingly elegant yet unsettling as it did then. You cannot convince me this shot isn't iconic. There are so many scenes that are like paintings, some directly referencing works of art. The real stars of this movie are the cinematography, the editing, and most of all the art direction, especially when it comes to set design, makeup, and costume design. So much work went into making these scenes. Even the CGI used to enhance some of the scenes is phenomenal. For CGI that was done literally over 20 years ago, to look this good still is a feat. This is going on my Blu-ray wish list. I would be remiss if I didn't also mention the score. It was so well done, and the background music as well as the sound design is just great. I watched this on my bedroom TV and I actually regret not watching it in the living room with full surround sound so that I could get the full impact of the sound design and score. I'm so glad I got the opportunity to see this on the big screen when it came out. And maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I really like The Cell. I think it's a good movie. But like I always say, don't take my word for it, watch it for yourself. Just because I love something doesn't mean you won't hate it, and just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't love it. Have you seen The Cell or Demonic? What did you think of them? Let me know in the comments. Until next time. Hey, did you know that I work for tips now? You could hit me up on Venmo or Cash App. While I'm happy to receive the type of coin that jingles, I'd love to receive the type that folds. somebody show these people where the subscribe button is. They don't know what they're doing.